human beings. Welcome to another stream with Issac Anzu, Chimera who's interested in human culture. I've been continuing my exploration of various parts of the internet, and I've really come to like a particular kind of video recently. You might remember from my first stream that over in the monster world, we get radio stations. Well, I've listened to quite a bit of music from the human world, but on YouTube, there's a particular style of music where they slow down the music and they put a lot of reverb on it, and they don't really change anything else, but for some reason it just makes the sound, the lyrics hit a little harder, you know, a little more impactful, a little bit it hits different, and I think the best ones of those are there's a lot of hip hop ones that are excellent because you slow down that beat, it gets real groovy, and then also pop punk. For some reason, you take that energy pop punk has, especially My Chemical Romance. You take My Chemical Romance, they've got some, you know, dark energy. You slow it down, you put some reverb on it, and all of a sudden it's just the saddest music you could ever listen to. The saddest possible music you could ever discover. I really like it. It's it's good for sad thinking times. But it's kind of the opposite of the genre of music which I've also heard about, nightcore. Nightcore music is you take any piece of music and you speed it up, I believe to 133 beats per minute. And all that really does is make it equal in tempo to popular dance music. But there's something about it. Like, it could be the most blasé song, but at 133 beats per minute, it's a bop. It's undeniable. Yeah, there's a lot of good remixes on the internet. I like remixes. I like mashups. I'm a huge fan of mashups, particularly mashups where they stitch the words together to make different meanings out of the words. I mean, it's very funny a lot of the time. Human language is just so flexible. Monster language is just a lot of growling and snorting. But yeah, you get this completely different song. It's almost like a cover song. A good mashup is almost like a cover song because you're basically hearing someone's melody and lyrics in someone else's style. And you know, you don't think about the fact that, you know, some famous band might cover another band's song, which is why live concerts are wonderful. You can learn who your favorite bands are by the songs they cover. But mashups just have that extra, I don't know. It's almost like not only is it a cover, but the mashup artist had a little bit of hand in it. They make sure the harmonies line up. They make sure the melodies and sections all work together. It's very, very cool. So mad respect for mashup artists. William Moranchi, One Bourdieu, Triple Q. So good. Uh, I hate to admit it because I've listened to so much excellent human music from all eras, but I keep coming back to mashups, and somehow, even when I'm in the mood for something more serious, there's serious mashups. When I'm in the mood for something funny, there's funny mashups. It's it's hard for me to get away from them. They're addicting. Not in a bad way. I still like normal music. Not all the music that I listen to is slowed down or mashed up with something else. That would be absurd. But what's your taste in music? It's you wouldn't get it. It's hard to listen to normal music once you've really gotten into the mashups of that music, because either you're hearing a different harmony than what's actually being played, or you're thinking about the other lyrics that aren't being sung. Anyway, today we're going to learn more about the internet. As the title says, we're Wikipedia'ing the internet. Because, well, I know a lot of human culture, but the internet is still kind of a mystery to me. I've watched all of the internet historians' videos, and although they were very funny, they didn't really highlight things very historically. They were more comedy than history. Not that I didn't enjoy them; they were quite good. But I thought that we could drop ourselves down the well of human knowledge that is Wikipedia, and discover more about the internet. Discover what makes it tick, and how it came to be. So let's get started. Whew. Here we are, the internet. The internet is a global system of interconnected computer networks. I think that's where the name came from. Interconnected network. Internet. It is a network of networks that consists of private, public, academic, business, and government networks of local to global scope. Fascinating, I know. The origins of the internet. This is what I'm here for. Date back to the development of packet switching and research commissioned by the United States Department of Defense in the 1960s to enable time sharing of computers. Okay, what is time sharing? Sharing a computing resource among many users at the same time. So they just wanted to share computers. That's what the internet is. What is packet switching, though? This might be a little bit more technical than I'm able to comprehend. Okay. In the early 1960s, American computer scientist Paul Baran developed the concept distributed adaptive message block switching, with the goal of providing a fault-tolerant, efficient routing method for telecommunication messages as part of a research program at the RAND Corporation, funded by the U.S. Department of Defense. The U.S. Department of Defense is the real power behind the internet, it seems. Who is Paul Baran? Oh, a Polish-American engineer. I have some distant relatives from Poland. Monster Poland, of course. A pioneer in the development of computer networks. So, how did he get... He sold the idea of the internet. How much did he sell it for? After the publication of On Distributed Communications, he presented the findings of his team to a number of audiences. It was the Department of the Defense, though, right? That funded this. Donald Davies at the National Physical Laboratory in the United Kingdoms. Oh, also thought of the same idea and implemented a trial network. So we have Paul Baran versus Donald Davies. The packet switching fight of the 1960s. It was, in fact, Davis's work on packet switching, not Baran's, that initially caught the attention of the developers of ARPANET. That sounds very Department of Defense-y. ARPANET. ARPANET. Is there really no article on ARPANET? What is ARPANET? ARPANET. Okay, this is getting pretty technical. Let's go back to Paul. Paul, how you doing? You are dead. In 1969, when the U.S. Advanced Research Projects Agency, ARPA, okay, started developing the idea of an inter-networked set of terminals to share computing resources, the reference materials that they considered included Baran and the Rand Corporation's Undistributed Communications volumes. Wait a minute. So is he actually involved? Okay, he developed the concept, and then Donald Davies coined the term packet switching, and eventually, okay, so here we go. This is what I wanted. The Advanced Research Projects Agency Network was the first wide area packet switching network. The first computers were connected in 1969. Nice. That's the same year as the moon landing. So the moon landing and the internet happened at the same time? That seems strange. The internet is, I don't know. I've heard stories that the moon landing happened with very, very small computers, like less computing power than cell phones. And the internet was connected at the exact same year. Interesting. And of course, they had a network control program. Now, but this isn't the first internet, is it? Oh, wow. It is the first internet. It went to Hawaii. It went to Germany, Norsar, Keller. It's a bunch of colleges. UCLA, Purdue. I recognize some of these names. Keller. Where's Keller? It doesn't even talk about it. Why were we connecting with? That's so strange. So the first 4 internet places: UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, the Augmentation Research Center at Stanford, the University of California, Santa Barbara, and the University of Utah School of Computing. One of these things is not like the other. UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, Stanford, and Utah. Is Utah really that? Okay. University of Utah. It is Utah's oldest institution of higher education. Wow. It was a university before Utah was a state. It had its name before Utah was a state. Is the state named after the university? Nice. Looks like it is a pretty nice place, Utah. Oh, they have their own little Hollywood, but it's just one letter. Welcome to Utah. We're like Hollywood, but we could only afford one letter. During the 2002 Winter Olympics, those were held in Salt Lake. Apparently, the college helped out. A view of lower campus. Well, this is all very interesting, but let's get back to the internet. All right. Most traditional communication media, including telephony, radio, television, paper mail, and newspapers, are reshaped, redefined, or even bypassed by the internet, giving birth to new services such as email, internet telephony. Oh, yeah. Internet phones, internet television, online music, digital newspapers, and video streaming websites. Video streaming websites. It'll never catch on. Newspaper, book, and other print publishing are adapting to website technology. You know, I heard a very interesting argument about this, about libraries being able to share books. It's very interesting because they don't let you have the book completely. They rent it out to you, and so it creates a sense of demand. And I'm guessing the number of copies also gives the author some money as well, which I think is interesting. I wonder how much authors make from that, because a digital copy is not a whole lot. I mean, the libraries have a bunch of them, and I'm guessing that most of an author's money comes from hardback sales, right? I don't know. This is a question for the internet. What's this? Publishing profits, publish book sales, book selling. Oh, interesting. The history of bookselling. In Rome, towards the end of the Republic, it became the fashion to have a library, and Roman booksellers carried on a flourishing trade. So, all you librarians out there, your ancestors are from ancient Rome. You know, the modern era, yes, bookstores, used bookstores. I like used bookstores. They smell very nice. Back to the internet. The overarching definitions of the two principal namespaces in the internet, the IP address and the DNS, are directed by a maintainer organization, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. You know, that sounds like something out of science fiction. The Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Your internet has a number, and I can see you with it. If the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers ever wants to dominate the world, they have a great slogan already. I can. In November 2006, the internet was included on USA Today's list of the new 7 wonders. Now, I've heard about the old seven wonders, but we should check out the new seven wonders. Wait, so is this okay? Excellent. I was hoping we'd get to the Wonders of the World article. The Seven Wonders of the Ancient World is the first known list of the most remarkable creations of classical antiquity. It was based on guidebooks popular among Hellenic sightseers and only includes works located around the Mediterranean Rim and in Mesopotamia. The number 7 was chosen because the Greeks believed it represented perfection and plenty, and because it was the number of the 5 planets known anciently, plus the sun and moon. Interesting. So, a bunch of people from ancient Greece, very different than the ancient Greece that I know and love in the monster world. A bunch of people from ancient Greece got together, put some guidebooks of popular tourist destinations, and their marketing campaign was so good that we now call them the Seven Wonders of the World. Gosh. All right, the Seven Wonders of the Ancient World. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, the Lighthouse of Alexandria, the Mausoleum at Halicarnassus. I didn't know that one. The statue of Zeus at Olympia, and the Temple of Artemis. Well, let's just look at pictures of all of them. Really, I just want to know, what are these wonders all about? The Great Pyramid of Giza. Ancient name in Egyptian. How do you pronounce that? Akhet Khufu. Akhet Khufu. I'm going to summon some ancient mummy lord. Very cool. The Colossus of Rhodes. Is it still... It collapsed during the earthquake of 226 BC, although parts of it were preserved. In accordance with a certain oracle, the Rhodians did not build it again. Oh, we have a cool statue, but in accordance with the oracles, we must not rebuild it. Pretty cool, though. It looks big. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. See, now this is probably where the Hellenic guidebook writers were getting some serious kickbacks. Look at that. That is absolutely a place where you would go and have, you know, a coffee and take some selfies and, you know, wander around and go bird watching or go on a date, make out with your significant other, whoever, make out with whoever you really wanted to. It's the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. I'm sure that that's where most of the money came from. But, you know, what sort of commerce is built around a pyramid and statues? This is where the money's at. But nobody knows where it is. The Hanging Gardens are the only one of the 7 wonders for which the location has not been definitively established. It's a mystery. It's an ancient mystery garden. Very cool. Ancient mystery garden. It is unclear whether the Hanging Gardens were an actual construction or a poetic creation. Owing to the lack of documentation in contemporaneous Babylon sources, this is it. We are cracking this conspiracy wide open. There were no Hanging Gardens. It's all marketing. It was, see the 7 wonders of the world. 7's a great number. It means purity, and it's the number of heavenly bodies. See the 7 wonders of the world. Here's 6 big ones and a garden that may or may not exist. Of course, the tourists fall for the trap and then wander around Babylon looking for the Hanging Gardens, eating the Babylonian food, and purchasing souvenirs from the Babylonian souvenir shops. See, this is it. This is it. We've done it. We've uncovered a secret part of human culture. The Lighthouse of Alexandria. For many centuries, it was one of the tallest man-made structures in the world. Oh, it's ruined now? Severely damaged by 3 earthquakes between 956 and 1323. I didn't think Egypt had that many earthquakes, but I guess that's a pretty long amount of time. How long is that? 367 years? 3 earthquakes in 367 years. So maybe they don't have a lot of earthquakes. But it looks like it's still being discovered. In 2016, the Ministry of State of Antiquities in Egypt had plans to turn submerged ruins of ancient Alexandria, including those of the pharaohs, into an underwater museum. I've never been to an underwater museum, but that sounds really cool. Imagine an underwater museum for like the wreckage of famous ships. Titanic, obviously. How would you get down there? Do you have to depressurize? I mean, this is right near the coast, so I guess the water pressure wouldn't be that bad. But what about like at the bottom of the ocean? Could you have a deep sea museum? All's well and good until someone's kid throws a rock at the wall. All right, the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. Who's in the mausoleum? It was destroyed by successive earthquakes from the 12th to 15th century, the last surviving of the 6 destroyed wonders. Oh, wow. So that means the Pyramid of Giza is the only wonder of the world that's still left. That's kind of crazy. It was a tomb built for Mausolus, a native Anatolian from Caria and a satrap in the... Okay, I've got a lot of questions. First off, who is Mausolus? He's a ruler of Caria. He seems to be the origin of the word mausoleum. Interesting. And what is a satrap? The satrap, oh, he was a viceroy. He was an advisor to the king. So this is... Okay. Kids, if you ever go to an ancient fantasy kingdom and the king has an advisor named Mausolus, don't trust him. That's like just a bad guy name. That's a bad guy name. He was a conqueror. See, bad guy. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus. The statue of Zeus at Olympia. This is in that movie about Hercules, the animated one. Olympian Zeus in the sculptured antique ark of Quatremere de Quincy. Quatremere de Quincy, what a name. A French armchair archaeologist and architectural theorist. He was an armchair archaeologist? how do you get that title? Was he just an archaeologist that wasn't that involved? He's just an archaeologist that just was very lazy. A French armchair archaeologist. I mean, I can see someone being called an armchair archaeologist if they're like he says an effective arts administrator and influential writer on art. That makes sense to me, but I wouldn't really call them an armchair archaeologist. That seems kind of derogatory. Like, he thinks he's an archaeologist, but he he just organizes things. He's not the real archaeologist. Cool name, though. Very cool name. The statue was lost and destroyed during the 5th century AD. Details of its form are known only from ancient Greek descriptions and representations on coins. Oh. They do have him on coins. Look at that. So, lost and destroyed. Loss and destruction. According to Roman historian Suetonius, the Roman Emperor Caligula gave orders that such statues of the gods as were especially famous for their sanctity or their artistic merit, including that of Jupiter at Olympia, should be brought from Greece in order to remove their heads and put his own in their place. So the statue was beheaded. The statue was beheaded. The statue was beheaded, and Caligula, and that's another bad guy name. Look at that guy. Caligula put his own head on the statue. Before this could happen, the emperor was assassinated. Oh. His death was supposedly foretold by the statue, which suddenly uttered such a peal of laughter that the scaffolding collapsed and the workmen took to their heels. This is wild. So this guy ordered that the Zeus statue be beheaded and its head replaced with his head. And then the statue laughed and he was assassinated. That's cool. I want to write these down for use in Dungeons and Dragons games. All right. Very cool. The Temple of Artemis, or the Temple of Diana. Is this is not the Parthenon, is it? Parthenon. Temple of Athena. Is it the same thing? But I thought they said only one still exists. Okay. Yes, it is a different temple. It's a temple of Athena. The Parthenon is a temple of Athena. This is a temple of Artemis. I get it now. I have set eyes on the wall of lofty Babylon, on which is a road for chariots, and the statue of Zeus by the Alphus, and the hanging gardens, and the colossus of the sun, and the huge labor of the high pyramids, and the vast tomb of Mausolus. When I saw the house of Artemis that mounted to the clouds, those other marvels lost their brilliancy, and I said, Lo, apart from Olympus, the sun never looks on aught so grand. And that's what's left. Somebody stack that up. That's sad. We were talking about the internet. The internet is recent lists. USA Today's 7 new wonders In November 2006, the American national newspaper USA Today and the American television show Good Morning America revealed a list of new 7 wonders as chosen by 6 judges. The Grand Canyon was added as an 8th wonder on November 24th, 2006 from viewer feedback. Oh, that's fun. They chose 7 wonders. And then they let the viewers call in to do an 8th wonder. So what are these other ones? The Potala Palace. You know, that looks pretty cool. I've never seen that before. That's really cool looking. The Potala Palace is a Zhong fortress in the city of Lhasa in Tibet. Interesting. Oh, that's pretty cool. It looks so cool. What are those? The stairs? Stair type things? Oh, they're far too big to be stairs. The walls of the Red Palace. The Red Palace sounds like a cool place too. The Old City in Jerusalem. What is the Old City? It is a 0.9 square kilometer or 0.35 square mile walled area within the modern city of Jerusalem. Is this the wall? And then that's the wall? Oh. Okay. It's like a park and palace and ruin area. It's part of the political back and forth in the region. What makes it? So the quarters. Here's a map. Muslim quarter, Christian quarter, Armenian quarter, Jewish quarter. What makes them different? Until the riots of 1929, the Muslim quarter had a mixed population. Is that true of the other ones? What is the 1929 Arab riots in Palestine? A long-running dispute between Muslim and Jews over the access to the Western Wall in Jerusalem escalated to violence. Oh, I think I've heard of this. That's a very famous wall. The Western Wall's holiness in Judaism is a result of its proximity to the Temple Mount. Wow. That's a very... The name Wailing Wall and descriptions such as a wailing place appeared regularly in English literature during the 19th century. The name Mur de Lamentation was used in French and Klagemauer in German. This term itself was a translation of the Arabic al-Mabka, or place of weeping. Wow. This is a cool wall. This article is so long. It's about a wall. Holy smokes. This wall has had so much history. All right. Well, I can certainly see why this area could be considered a modern wonder of the world. It certainly has the history and grandeur. The polar ice caps. A polar ice cap or polar cap is a high latitude region of a planet covered in ice. Earth's polar caps are mainly water ice, whereas Mars' polar caps are a mixture of solid carbon dioxide and water ice. Earth's polar ice caps. Ah, yes, they are melting. Since 1979, winter Arctic ice extent has decreased about 4.2% per decade. That is unfortunate. So this is climate change, which is serious business. You know, I can see why that would be considered a new wonder of the world if they're trying to bring it to more people's attention. Good job. Good morning, America. All right. Let's... Oh, boy. Papa Hanaumokuakea Marine National Monument. Oh, it's one of the world's largest protected areas. Has cultural and natural significance. The area has deep cosmological and traditional significance for living native Hawaiian culture as an ancestral environment, as an embodiment of the Hawaiian concept of kinship between two people in the natural world, and as the place where it is believed that life originates and to where the spirits return after death. On two of the islands, Nihoa and Mokumanamana, there are archaeological remains relating to pre-European settlement and use. Much of the monument is made up of the pelagic and deep water habitats, with notable features such as seamounts and submerged banks, extensive coral reefs, and lagoons. So it's a very diverse little place with sea life. Oh. Lobster populations have not recovered from extensive harvesting in the 1980s and 1990s. Wow. There are a lot of very fragile species here in the Marine National Monument. And here they are. Fish. Yep, masked boobies. Another bird. Seals, the dogs of the sea. There are whales here too. Wow, this place is crazy. Is that a video? Wow. I like the seals. They're very cute. So I saw something on here. The Hawaiian concept of kinship. Is that something interesting? Within common typologies, the Hawaiian system is the simplest classificatory system of kinship. Relatives are distinguished only by generation and by gender. In this system, a person refers to all females of his parents' generation as mother and all of the males as father. In his generation, all brothers and male cousins are referred to as brother, and all sisters and female cousins as sister. In this way, a cross cousin will be referred to as a sibling. So you have no aunts and uncles. You only have a lot of mothers and a lot of fathers and a lot of grandmothers and grandfathers. You know, that's pretty cool, actually. I like it. We can all be brothers and sisters under the ideas of kinship from our Hawaiian neighbors. Mayan civilization, another new wonder of the world. Wait. Mayan civilization, Mayan architecture. Mesopotamian culture developed by the Maya peoples. So they were quite old, before 2000 BC. Rule during the classic period centered on the concept of the divine king, who was thought to act as a mediator between mortals and the supernatural realm. Kingship was patrilineal, and power normally passed to the eldest son. I guess if you can talk to the gods, then you got it in your blood. Maya cities tended to expand haphazardly. Is there any city in the world that does not expand haphazardly? I think you'd have to have a very, very strict sort of city planning department in order for your city to not expand chaotically. Let's see. They came into contact with missionaries. They liked war and trade. They seem very normal. They made art and architecture. This is what we're talking about. Maya architecture. Mayan cities were not formally planned. Well, that's why they were subject to irregular expansion. This is just calling it as it is. Pyramids and temples. Now, I have seen the movie The Road to El Dorado, which is I see that movie in memes all the time on the internet. But I don't really remember, it's been a while. I don't remember the plot, but I remember that there was a ball court scene. Mesoamerican ball court. And do they have rules? Rings? That's what they did. This is it. The ring was set some 6 meters, 20 feet above the playing alley, making it extremely difficult to pass the heavy ball through the hole. So it's basically twice as high as a basketball hoop, and the ball is very heavy. So these guys were probably ripped. The ball boys were the hottest boys in Mesoamerica. I think that's even a plot point in the Road to El Dorado, that they win the ball game probably through ingenuity, because they are not very beefy boys, and that gets them all sorts of respect. All right, continuing. The Serengeti. The Great Migration of the Serengeti. Each year, around the same time, the circular Great Wildebeest Migration begins in the Ngorongoro Conservation Area in the southern Serengeti in Tanzania, and loops in a clockwise direction through the Serengeti National Park and north towards the Masai Mara Reserve in Kenya. This migration is a natural phenomenon determined by the availability of grazing. The initial phase lasts approximately from January to March. So for 3 months, this happens. That's a lot of wildebeest. How do you live in this area? I guess the answer is you don't. Or you you don't live there for 3 months. That's so many wildebeests. The crossings of the Grimidi and Mara rivers and beginning in July are a popular safari attraction because crocodiles are lying in wait. So popular. Death is popular, I guess. That seems just rude. You know, they're just trying to go to the. It's like they're going to the store, and to pick up some food, and there's a mugger waiting around the corner, and because muggers are popular this time of year, there's a bunch of people just sitting there and watching, eating popcorn, holding binoculars. That's what this is like. I feel bad for the wildebeests. That's awful. I may not be very popular. I'm 1 in a million. There's many, many wildebeests, but my death is a spectacle unlike any other. I wonder if there's people who... That's a pretty morbid thought. I wonder if there's people who are into that, but let's not go there. The Grand Canyon. Let's go to the Grand Canyon instead. Nearly 2 billion years of Earth's geological history has been exposed as the Colorado River and its tributaries cut their channels through layer after layer of rock while the Colorado Plateau was uplifted. While some aspects about the history of incision of the canyon are debated by geologists, what aspects are debated by geologists? Evidence? I love... Look at this. Yes, a book source. I just want to see the cover. Carving Grand Canyon. Evidence, theories, and mystery. Now that's a book cover. Look at that. Carving Grand Canyon. Evidence, theories, and mystery. Well, I say one thing for that guy. He knows how to write a book title. Several recent studies support the hypothesis that the Colorado River established its course through the area about 5 to 6 million years ago. That's a lot of years. Is there a timeline? Is there like eras? Era is a span of time. Geological era. Cosmological era. List of time periods. So, yes. When, general periods. This is what we want. When did why doesn't it say how long ago this was? Okay, quite. Okay. Humans. First stone tools were circa 3 million years ago. So humans have only been alive 3/5 of the time that the Colorado River has been working on the Grand Canyon. Universal history. Oh, this is just of humans. Socio-political periods, war and crisis periods, countries, geographic time periods. Now this is what we want. Geologic time scale? Yes. 1 ga 2 ga ma 2 ma. Million years ago? What does this mean? Millions of years. Okay, so this is in thousands of years, the Holocene epoch. But these are in millions of years. So we want this one, the Pliocene. What was happening in the Pliocene era? Right? Right. Pliocene. Yep, so right around the start of the Pliocene is when the Grand Canyon started forming. What happened then? Do we not know anything that happened then? Global temperatures were a little higher. The global sea level was higher. So that means a lot of coastal places right now would have been underwater. The sea level changes exposed the land bridge between Alaska and Siberia. Ooh. Back when Alaska connected to Siberia. Interesting. Looks like a lot of clams existed then. That's quite an odd shell, friend. That's quite an odd shell, friend. In North America, rodents, large mastodons, and gomphotheres. A gomphothery. Wow, what a word. I've never heard of this before. Gomphothery. Gomphothere. 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 Gomphowhere? Gomphohere. Oh, they're extinct. They're not Gomphothère anymore. Gomphotheres differed from elephants in their tooth structure, particularly the chewing surfaces on the molar teeth. Early species had 4 tusks. Yes, I can see that. They look like big pincher bug. They look like big Hercules beetles. Gomphotherium. It's pretty cute. It's pretty cute. Possible causes for extinction. Oh no. The results confirm that ancient diets cannot always be interpreted solely from dental morphology or extrapolated from present relatives. The data from Middle and Late Pliocene periods indicated that over time, a shift occurred in dietary patterns away from predominantly mixed feeders to more specialized feeders. This dietary evolution may have been one of the factors that contributed to the disappearance of South American gomphotheres at the end of the Pliocene. Climate change and human predation have also been discussed as possible causes of the extinction. They got sick because they ate too many things, and then humans came along. What were we looking at? The internet. We didn't really look at the internet much today, but let's look. Before we go, let's get a fact, an internet fact. Internet fact. Anybody see anything interesting? Internet fact. In 2010, there were 1 billion Google searches every day. 300 million internet users reading blogs. I bet that number's gone down. And 2 billion videos viewed daily on YouTube. $2 billion videos a day. And I'm glad that you picked this one to check out. That's all the time that I have for now. I am thinking about what to look into next. Obviously, we don't stick to the script exactly. But whatever people would like to hear about, I'm open to suggestions. So please join me next time. I think I'll be sticking to a Tuesday, Thursday, possibly Saturday streaming schedule. I should probably post that somewhere. I'm still trying to figure out how Twitter works. They're supposed to send me an email or something. I'm having difficulty getting such a thing. Anyway, I'll keep going, and maybe I'll see you next time.